අපේ සංස්කෘතිය අනුව බඩ බුලට මගුලක් කියන්න ගෙදරට ගියත් බුලත් දීලා තමයි කියන්නේ. මරණ මගුල් හැම දෙයකටම බුලත්.
What do you think this is?
From looking at it, it's a bag, right? Like it feels very Sri Lankan, so it does look expensive though. So maybe it has some sort of like ritualistic value, like maybe it's like something to do with royalty. I mean, it looks very like it looks super expensive and like handcrafted and very detailed. So yeah, I would say it's like a bag or like a pouch of something.
Exactly. So some people might know what this is, but back then I was not also aware of what this was. I saw this when I went to the National Museum in Colombo, and I was like, "Oh, what is this and what is this for?" So apparently this is a Bulath Malla, which is called in Sinhala. So Bulath means beetle and Malla means bag. So essentially it's a bag to put Bulath leaves. And that's when I started to question, like, why do you need this much heavily embroidered decorative bag to put some leaves in it?
So Bulath or betel leaf is not only present in Sri Lanka, it has been a culturally connected thing in South Asian countries for a long time. But in Sri Lanka, we have quite a few connections and attachment, I would say, in various ways. So what can I mostly remember is when you forget to bring a bulat to your school, which has 40 leaves in the other. There are several myths and stories about this leaf, especially about how this plant came into this world, because this plant is not considered just a plant. It's one of the most sacred plants and the most important plants that were in Sri Lanka. So the most popular and the longest story I'd say is about the Na king. So him dying and this Bulath plant spawning in that spot which he died, and then the plant has been taken from Na world to this world by a cobra with its mouth.
බුලක් කොලේ අග කොන කඩා දානවා මුල් කොන කඩලා දානවා. හේතු නාගයා කටින් අරගෙන ආයේ බුලක් කොලේ දෙකට නමලා බුලක් කන අය ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කරපු පුරුද්දක් ඇති.
The myth is that the snake venom is still there in the Bulath leaf and always connected with snakes, and it has been named according to the Sinhala name of the snake as Nagavalli, Nagalata.
Snakes, so like is there any truth to that, in the sense that like is it because like I mean I assume that's like a mythology, but like is it because the leaf grows in the shape of a vine?
As I read, it is mostly because of the shape of the leaf. So the shape of the leaf, it imitates the shape of the head part of the cobra, and also it's because of the vine. But also, so I have a question. The pepper vine is also very, very similar to the Bulath, right? So
Yeah.
why is that left out? I don't have answers to that.
Yeah,
I
that's
just kept
interesting.
pushing it on.
I was also going to like, because like I guess the leaf even is quite similar in the pepper wine, and it's and the
Yeah, it's very, very
very
similar.
similar, right? Like I think at a certain point.
The most important and the most popular part that we can see day to day life is eating bulat. So people still eat bulat in Sri Lanka.
It's like I remember that my dad used to like chew bullets, like the normal thing, like when I was really young. People were like, it's basically like cigarettes, and I imagine that's because of the tobacco part of the beetle chewing and not the beetle part.
In the leaf part also, there's very, very small amount of nicotine in it.
Okay.
Like a very small amount. But nowadays, tobacco is the main ingredient that is getting people addicted. But also, the tobacco came after the Dutch. So until Dutch, the tobacco is not an ingredient in the Bulath bitter, which you do as.
Is the
Bulath.
so the if tobacco wasn't an ingredient, what was it?
I'm not quite sure about the truth of the question, but before tobacco, there was like so many varieties. It's the normal thing that we use alkanet,
Yeah,
slake,
yeah.
lime, and betel.
Hmm.
But there was some other condiments. In Sinhala, it's kind of like enosal, karamungu, carbonate,
Oh,
the
okay.
basic spices we
So
use
yeah,
in
it's like
everyday, they have
cooking
used
spices,
as,
like cooking, like just
yeah,
random medicinal,
yeah,
like
cooking
cooking
spices.
spices. Okay.
So apparently eating bulat was very common just as we are wearing clothes. People had bulat in every minute, and even when they were going to sleep, they were used to take a bulat twitter which had these all condiments in it and then put it into their mouth, and then when they wake up they used to check if it's there. It says a red mouth due to the bulat is beautiful for Sri Lankan and South Asian people. And also red lips from Bulath has been considered as makeup by ladies, so it has been used for beauty purposes too. And also in the book Bulath it has Sinhala, it says the Bulath help with the minerals which lacked in our day-to-day life. The most interesting and the hidden part of Bulat that I have discovered is the communication with this leaf. So, what I want to highlight and what I was most amazed by is this communication aspect that's hidden inside this leaf and the traditional society of Sri Lanka. So people have this use this everyday leaf to communicate with each other as like a communication symbol or sometimes as a primary communication method. I would say it's almost like a language. And so similar to languages, this leaf has been with everybody every time, and this can be used by everyone, even in Sri Lanka where we had very strong class differences back in the day. So in the book Bulath it has Sinhala, it says from the highest class to the lowest possible, using Bulath and eating Bulath was allowed in the same environment. So as an example, if you are from the lowest class in Sri Lanka back in the days when you was in King's era, and if you are the king, you both are able to chew the bulat at the same time, at the same place, everywhere. So the communicative part of this is even when you don't mention anything first and get a bulat tata and give it to an eldest person, he or she knows that you are asking for blessings, and also they don't take the bulat tata to themselves, they give it to back. So that is a tradition. And I discovered something interesting when I was researching about this. So we normally give the stalk side to the elder person, and if you are giving your blessings to a younger person, you can give the other side to the younger person. And if you are giving or getting blessings from a person who is in the same age, you can give it to the side. This is about how you can bless and make someone happy from bulat in the communicative aspect. But if you want to offend someone in front of large audience as a punishment, even there has been situations where people or the king or queen has spitted the bulat into the other person. So it's said to be one of the biggest ways to offend people. And there's another book called Bulat Tatha Bandhune Pem Siddhavili, which literally means the connection between bulat and love and feelings. So this bulat has that communicative aspect in it too. As an example, when you meet someone you like, and if you're asking for bulat or if you're giving a bulat vita to chew, that is seen and considered as flirting. It's kind of like giving your number or Insta at this time. Things like this communicated the love, suspense, and your inner feelings just with the leaf. And this Bulat Vita and Bulat has been creeped into these love songs, poems, which we know as Kavi. And sometimes people show off the Bulat harvest they have just to get others attracted to them. Another very important point in life, especially in Sri Lankan, especially back in the day, is the marriage. So from the meetup, you are being characterized to the other person or the other person's family just by the way you engage associates with this leaf. So as an example, in meeting as a couple, if you're Sri Lankan, I'm pretty sure that you have seen this scenario where the bride gives the Bulath to the groom just by the way you give it. Like as an example, if you're not shy to give it to the groom, it is said to be that you are going to be a quite fierce wife. And as a groom, if you are not snapping the ends of the Bulath before chewing it, it's said that you are going to be an arrogant, angry husband. And
You explain like this entire paragraph of like the nuances of how it is if you give like this amount of leaves, like the superstitions behind them. So like beyond the communication aspect, like I mean there's like an entire paragraph of it, so which is very fascinating.
so there are some interesting facts about this also. Like if you take 18 leaves in a specific hour, which has been Sikuru Horava in Sinhala, on a Friday to an enemy's house, they will immediately be friends for life. So you can try it out if you want. I don't know if it will be a success.
It's like getting people to like you versus like not like you versus like it's like a character trait, like if it's like whether you're aggressive or passive, whatever. Like those things are like incredibly interesting. That's like I can't even begin to imagine where those things come from. It's almost like a rudimentary like second sort of like secret language, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was also interested because Bulath was with people every time. It's kind of like you have a smartphone these days, but I think it's more than that because I don't think in Sri Lanka everybody doesn't have a smartphone.
Right.
In some villages they don't.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Bulath, even the king had it. Like king had a special servant to carry the Bulath.
There's a lot of like interesting reasons like semiotically about this, because like it's very very close to a sign language, but it isn't, because a sign language is like purpose built for the purposes of communication. This is almost like it's almost there, but it's not exactly there because it's not for all communication. It's just to get certain messages across, like it's to like sort of like either pass a judgment, or it seems to me like it's very much like a like it to me this is like a brilliant example of like how fascinating high context cultures can be.
Imagine you're a traveler and
Yeah.
I'm giving you a Bulath.
Yeah, because like
Completely.
yeah, because when you told me this, what I imagined immediately was like if someone came to your village that was completely like foreign, like people could have easily done that using this system where they would have like given like various cues to maybe signal someone of danger, or maybe signal someone that someone's coming or like something's happening, and the other person would not know at all. It almost feels like a fail-safe, and I think to a certain extent they have achieved that. So like I think semiotically that's very interesting. To truly be immersed in the nuances of culture, it would take someone learning the context behind things like this. And I think even to us it's foreign, like even to us, like
Yeah.
like I mean I don't think these traditions like died that long ago. They largely exist still in the bigger events of life, I think.
In our families currently, if we are a very close relative and if there's a wedding happening, there's this practice that's still happening, which you don't get the invitation card for wedding, you get Bulath. So if you see the groom and bride and their mothers coming into the house with Bulath, you immediately know, okay, they're gonna marry.
That is so anti-class culture that I feel like someone intentionally created it so that would like survive the test of time. That is like beautiful. So yeah, awesome.